Hi. So today we are going to talk about dun 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 leadership failures. So I think that we are all familiar with numerous quotes out there and numerous stories about failure and how important actually failure is to success. There's some great videos if you Google Michael Jordan and failure. There's just a fantastic kind of montage that he does on that. That's probably one of the best out there. So much on failure, so much on why it's important. So I'm going to just give you a little bit, kind of three tips that I think about leadership and failure. And so the first one is if you did something that failed or backfired or didn't work, you need to own it. And there's no shame in this, right? And that's going to lead to my point number three that I'm going to bring up. Own it. Own what you did, right? You have to. It's a responsible thing. And if you want people on your team to own their mistakes, you need to lead by example and own yours. So I say make a mistake pretty frequently. Now, thankfully, there haven't been a lot of very high level, like, you know, totally, destroying failures. But if there was, I'd own it. I mean, that's the best way. Or I often will preemptively say, I just want to need to warn you. I say this to my boss. I just want to warn you. Did this, a little concerned about this. Here's how I'm going to manage any fallout that occurs, etc. So kind of, so I guess it's two things in managing the failure and owning it. It is first being honest about it with your team, and it's also being honest about it with those that you report to and following through on what you're going to do to remedy it. Important. All right. Number two, learn from it. So, of course, what are failures if we don't learn from them? And don't just internally learn from it, but make it clear to your team. So, what went wrong? What could you do better? Because everybody needs to know it can happen to them. I generally found, and I think someone very wise once told this to me, that a lot of times failures are based on two things: lack of communication, lack of process. And I find that to be true over and over and over again. There are other things, of course, but really think about communication, think about process, think about what are you going to change so something like that doesn't happen again if that's possible. What did you miss? Learning lesson for everybody. It's fantastic. And the third thing is really embrace failure as part of the culture. So, what do I mean by that? So, very recently, I very broadly, the 50,000 foot view, kind of oversaw a curriculum revision or renewal. So, I had a whole team in place led by a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful vice dean who really led that reform. But I told them, I said, if everything goes perfectly in this curricular revision, you have done something wrong. If you didn't dream big enough or vision big enough or try something crazy enough that something is not going to fail, this curriculum revision was a waste. So I set the expectation for them to go big. We're going to do continuous quality improvement. We're going to make sure we track what fails and what track what goes right and what fails, both things. But if you didn't go big enough that something's not going to work right, or if everything goes perfectly, what did you change? You changed nothing then. Change goes along with something not working pretty much 100% of the time. So I set the expectation in that way that I expected some failure and that I was going to be okay with some failure. They need to address the failure, like, let's be clear, but failure was necessary for the curriculum revision to actually be strong and good and fantastic. So those are my three things about leadership and failure, three little points. So again, own up if you messed up, learn from it, and create a culture where failure is expected. Really important for leadership. That's my 2 cents. Hey, if you like more of these nuggets or want to have another way to get a hold of me, check out christnercoaching.com and sign up for my newsletter, which is monthly. And I'm going to try to make it bi-monthly in the near future. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.